Okay, well, thank you so much. And I'm excited to be talking about Tai Chi Easy. Tai Chi was one of the favorite modalities that I learned many years ago. I guess I first learned it at New York College and through some adult education programs, but I was a little intimidated by all the moves and didn't really keep up with it on a daily basis. So over the last 3 years, we've been partnering with this Healer Within Foundation. So I'll be presenting Tai Chi Easy today, which is a combination of Tai Chi and Qi Gong, and it's part of a national dissemination project. And it's meant for us to do, to enjoy, and to have fun. So not as rigid as some of the instructions that you would have with a Tai Chi master, where you're really focused on the exact pose. This is taken a little bit lighter, meant for us to really relax and use a lot of the principles from Tai Chi and Qi Gong. So I'm going to share my screen and bring up the presentation. And again, if there's any questions, just put them in the chat, please, and Janine will let me know. Can you see my screen, Janine?
I can.
Okay, great. Okay, so this is where I worked prior to COVID. I'm a nurse practitioner at our Integrative Wellness Center in Roslyn. And the mission of our center, that's part of Northwell Health and Katz Institute, is to live, practice, and teach integrative approaches to wellness and prevention using evidence-informed healthcare. And evidence-informed is important. You know, everybody's looking to take care of themselves pretty much body, mind, and spirit nowadays. There's a large focus on integrative health and a number of definitions. So I just want to set a little bit of the background for this Tai Chi Easy. So when we talk about integrative health, we have the whole world of conventional medicine. All our best practice medicines are testing, our antibiotics. Then we have the whole world of complementary and alternative medicine, the Tai Chi, the Reiki, the herbs, the aromatherapy. Then we have this whole focus that, you know, we're really fortunate on our part of the world to have a focus on self-care, especially through the series that is, Congresswoman Miller is supporting. And where these three intersect, that's the integrative health. So we want it all. We want to take the best of every practice, but realize there's a whole need for us and our self-care. Gone are the days where you feel sick, you go to the doctor, you get a pill, and you're better. That might work, you know, for some simple conditions, but in the long term, we're really focused on how do we take care of ourselves, and we realize that we need more than just a medication to make us well. Dr. Andrew Weil talks about integrative medicine as healing-oriented, which is huge. It's different than the cure. You know, a cure means you get rid of something. You know, healing is the transition, a journey, and a process. And so we're looking at healing-oriented medicine that takes account of the whole person, considering our lifestyle, looking at our relationships that play such an important part in our life, and all the appropriate therapies. So again, looking at evidence, looking at what can really help us heal, because when we look at Americans, and this is old data, these numbers are even higher now. We look at 2010 before COVID, 90 million Americans had chronic disease, and that accounts for 70% of our healthcare costs. So these costs are often directly related to obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and arthritis, conditions that can be improved a bit with lifestyle changes, a potential for billions of dollars in savings as we partner with best practice models and lifestyle changes. And realizing, you know, well, most people don't want to pay for their wellness. This is a big issue at our center. People say, well, why do I have to pay for a yoga class? Or why do I have to pay for a massage? Why doesn't my insurance cover it? And while we certainly hope that in the future insurance coverage will improve, we have to value it as well. And when we can, you know, support our own health and wellness, and sometimes we do pay out of pocket. So this journey towards health is a huge effort. I mean, if we wanted to just focus on our health, I usually say it could take me all day long by the time I focus on my healthy sleep, eating all the real foods, the healthy foods, doing my exercise, aerobic, strength training, relaxation, dealing with stress, that could be a full-time job. So this is a challenge, and we realize it's complicated. Most of the people that we see come to us initially for some type of stress. 75% of Americans have moderate to severe stress. And look at this, 75 to 90% of doctor visits are stress-related. Pretty much any condition that you have is worsened by stress. Even if you take something like pain, you know, when you have pain and you're stressed, it just exacerbates it. So this is another area that we're looking at, stress in terms of healthy living. $300 billion spent annually focusing on stress. So this is where a lot of the integrative modalities come into play. Today we'll be talking about Tai Chi and Qi Gong. In our library, we have a huge resource of, you know, yoga, different types of activities. At our center, we have acupuncture, we use aromatherapy, a lot of different modalities people are using to help keep themselves well. But again, it's not a quick fix. Yes, if you have pain, if you feel stressed, you go for a massage, you feel like it's a quick fix because you recognize how great it feels to be relaxed. But it's something that you need to work out with lifestyle. So a number of years ago, the National Center for Complementary and Alternative Medicine changed the name to the National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health. So again, this integration piece where it's not one or the other. We want to pick from the best modalities out there to keep ourselves healthy. And under these mind-body therapies comes Tai Chi and Qi Gong. And they've seen favorable outcomes in many different areas. Just some of the research has highlighted cardiac rehab, pain management for arthritis and inflammatory issues, and enhanced immune system. So how important is a good immune system in this day and age? I mean, it's invaluable. Improved quality of life for coping with cancer and other chronic diseases, and mood regulation. And this comes from a form of Tai Chi that we'll be talking about today, Tai Chi Easy, that is meant for us to do on a daily practice, you know, with others or simply by ourselves. We don't need equipment. We don't have to pay to go somewhere to learn it. These are practices that we can institute on our own. On site, these were all the services that we had. We would often bring programs to different businesses or to different parts of the health system based on people's needs. But again, different programs work for different people. So today, again, I'll focus on the Tai Chi Easy. So Tai Chi Easy was started a number of years ago, and it's not a type of Tai Chi. It's a combination of Tai Chi and Qi Gong, best practices involving both of them. And it was really started by this Dr. Roger Jahnke, his name starts with the J, and with some NIH funding. And it's part of a national dissemination project. As I mentioned, his goal is to have this part of every community, simple moves that people can do for their own health and healing. So what Tai Chi is, it's really a carefully developed method and approach to Tai Chi Easy that's simple and it's beneficial and it's fun right away. It's not like you have to spend, when I first learned Tai Chi, which I'm not putting down at all, I absolutely love it, and I'm so impressed by the people that are so diligent in their daily practice. But it took, I think we spent maybe like 3 weeks learning the first standing position. So this is something that's meant to be fun right away. And it's designed to improve our quality of life. It's evidence-based, cost-effective, and it works for any population. Today, when we do some of the moves, we'll be doing some standing moves. They can also be done in chairs. They've been done in nursing homes, in hospitals. There's even some moves that they show lying in bed. But it's slow and careful movement that strengthens the body's own healing forces and supports preventing disease, accelerating healing, and reducing stress. So the goal is to be inspired and to participate. So I love this sentence because I don't see this very much in my life. You know, doing it wrong is better than not doing it at all. Certainly in healthcare, we can't do anything wrong. So when I hear something like this, you know, you're allowed to make mistakes. If you get mixed up from one side to the other, it's okay. You breathe and you move. So looking at Qi Gong, again, thousands of years old, the translation is life energy. And that's really a method of self-healing. that has many different forms. And one of the forms is Tai Chi, which is interpreted as the source, the beginning. Tai Chi Chuan is the martial arts, talks about the fist. So the Tai Chi Chuan was really part of a martial art years ago, and still is. But generally, Tai Chi is 24, 36, or 42 movements. And today, when we actually move, we'll be doing just 5 of the simple movements. So the point is to go slow and easy. And just some quotes, from ancient Chinese proverbs. That which appears great on the outside is weak on the inside. That which appears inconsequential on the outside is great and powerful on the inside. So looks can be deceiving. How many times have we seen a master in one of these martial arts, in the Tai Chi or Qi Gong or other forms, looking very slight and not strong, and you see them able to use their body and resist and be really strong and certainly take care of themselves if that were the goal. So this is rooted in traditional Chinese medicine. So part of my training, I guess I should say, I'm a holistic nurse practitioner. My background is cardiac surgery, and I worked at Northwell pretty much most of my life. And in cardiac surgery, everybody was stressed. So in an attempt to see how I could help my patients heal, I did a number of integrative programs. One of them was AMMA massage, which came out of New York College, and it was grounded in principles of traditional Chinese medicine. So I really aligned with this philosophy. So for thousands of years in traditional Chinese medicine, the focus was on the person and not on the disease. In fact, they would tell us the story that in the ancient Chinese villages, there would be a doctor in the village. And if people were sick, the doctor didn't get paid. He only got paid when people were well. So it was this focus on taking care of yourself. It integrates the body, mind, and spirit. It's interesting. I don't know if you can see this little picture here. I'm sure most of you are familiar with acupuncture. The belief in acupuncture is that energy runs down the acupuncture channels. And when you're stressed, when you have disease, that energy gets blocked. And there's a number of activities and breath movements and meditations that we can do to unblock the energy. Along with the energy running in the channels, each channel has specific organ energy. So for instance, in Western medicine, if the doctor's assessing our lungs, they listen to our lungs anteriorly, posteriorly, they may tap a little bit. In Chinese medicine, the lung energy starts here and goes down your arm, on both arms. And if you were going to assess that energy, you may palpate the channel. You might feel the pulses on the wrist. You may look at the tongue for a tongue diagnosis. So different ways of assessing. But the reason I talk about this is that each organ energy channel has an emotion attached to it. And the emotion attached to the lung is grief. So for thousands of years in traditional Chinese medicine, they believe that grief can affect the lung energy. So in my mind, that's a very holistic perspective. When we look at the kidneys, the emotion is fear. When we look at the spleen and stomach, the emotion is worry. So, and I should mention the lungs organ pair is the colon. So that would be the same for the lung and the colon, that emotion. So very interesting talking about integrating the body, mind, spirit. That belief has been held for thousands of years. So they use a lot of self-care practices in traditional Chinese medicine. And we base health on improving, cultivating, and refining our energy, this energy that flows through the channel. So Qigong is energy cultivation. And it's a complement to medical treatment. This isn't meant to be like, oh, I'm sick, I'm not going to my medical provider, I'm just going to sit home and do Tai Chi. No, we're looking to integrate the best of all the different worlds, of all the evidence that we have. There's also a belief that energy can be gathered from nature and the universe through the nearly 1,000 acupuncture energy gates, or the acupuncture points. And I think certainly living on the Barrier Island, we feel that connection to nature. That's probably why most of us are living here. You know, you feel that connection to the ocean, to the sky, to the universe. And how that can impact our energy. Certainly we know if you're in a room with people prior to COVID that have bad energy, you feel it and you feel drained, you know, and what's the difference when you're out in the open, surrounded by nature and with people with good energy? So they realize the effect that energy has on our body. The other principle they look at is the yin and the yang, the male and the female, the soft and the hard, the light and the dark, the different contrasts. And again, this constant goal of balancing energy. So the yin energy is the female energy, that's the energy of the earth, and that naturally draws up towards the heavens. And the male energy is the energy of the heaven that naturally draws down. So again, our goal is towards balance. So the benefits of doing some type of Tai Chi easy practice, it helps with certainly the balance and coordination, and that's known with regular Tai Chi for years. It can relieve pain, improve sleep, and these have to do with the relaxation effects. Heal and prevent illness. Certainly if we can strengthen our immune system, if the body is more relaxed, we know we're going to prevent illness. And it can certainly help us heal from a lot of the chronic diseases. Maybe not cure it on a cellular level, but healing and the perception of feeling an improvement definitely can be there. Lower the blood pressure, improve the cardiovascular fitness. I mentioned the immune system. And all of this goes with relaxation, slowing the bone loss, supporting recovery from addiction, aiding in weight loss, increasing energy. Certainly this balance, you know, with balancing this body, mind, and spirit. And you can see how that would lead to a sense of peace and improved quality of life. Certainly in our society, we see a huge benefit in decreasing stress, anxiety, and depression. So getting to the work of the Tai Chi Easy, they look at it in 4 baskets. So it includes being aware of your breath. It includes some meditation, some self-massage, and some movement. And today, in the time that we have, I'd like to cover each one of these different baskets. So as we start, I'd like to start with breath awareness. So this is a simple practice that anybody can do. And as we go through these different baskets between the breath awareness, the self-massage, and movement, I just caution you to be respectful of where you are. If you have any limitations, any contraindications to any move or breathing, just be mindful of that and honor yourself. So as we do a breath awareness practice, I'm going to invite you to get comfortable in your chair. Let's take our shoulders up, around, and back so that the chest opens up. And you can place your arms comfortably on your lap. And bring your awareness to your breath. Noticing the inhale. Noticing the exhale. And if you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes. And as you notice the inhale and the exhale, I also invite you to notice the pause between breaths, those split seconds of complete rest before you take the next breath in or you take the next breath out. And then I invite you to take your hands and place them on the lower part of your belly. And imagine that you're breathing in and out of that lower part of the abdomen. You might feel your hands rise as you inhale, and as you exhale, pull the belly to the spine. Nothing forced, just a gentle movement of the abdominal breathing, the way most men breathe, the way most babies and animals breathe. Just noticing what it feels like to bring your awareness to that part of your body. Then I invite you to take your hands and place them in the mid area under the breast. And notice what it feels like to breathe into that area. Again, nothing forced. Keeping the chest open, that square frame nice and open. You might feel the ribs expand or contract. And if distracting thoughts come to mind, just acknowledge them without judging them and let them go with the breath. Bringing your awareness back to the breath and the hands on the mid area. And then I invite you to take your hands and place them over the upper part of the chest. And notice what it feels like to breathe into that area. You might feel the chest rise and fall. You may even feel your heartbeat. But just become aware of your pattern of breathing without judging it. Just noticing it. And then take your hands and place them wherever it felt the most comfortable, on the chest, the mid area, or the belly. And just continue for about 3 more breaths with your hands in that area. And then you can take a deeper inhale and a sigh as you exhale. And you can open your eyes and come back to the present time and place. So that was a simple breath awareness practice. And all you did was notice what it felt like breathing in the lower part of your body, breathing in the mid area, and breathing in the chest. For those of you that are familiar with Reiki and chakras, the belief from Ayurvedic medicine that energy enters the body through these different chakras, this is a form of chakra balancing. So again, if there's any questions with this, you can put them in the chat and Janine will let them out to me. But I'd like to know who felt the most, where did it feel the most comfortable for you? Was it the most comfortable in the belly? Was it the most comfortable in the mid area? Or was it the most comfortable in the chest? So just type it into the chat. Because it's always interesting to me, you know, for years I taught Lamaze breathing, and everyone had to breathe from the belly. And once I learned this type of assessment, and it changes for people from day to day, but it can be very powerful as you're trying to just assess what's going on and relax a little bit. So one of the simple forms of breath awareness that's very common with Tai Chi Easy. Okay. And then the next basket is meditation. Certainly, breath awareness and meditation flow together. We often start with the breath awareness and relaxation before we do an actual meditation. And in talking about Tai Chi Easy today, we'll be doing, you know, a mindful meditation. We may be doing some progressive muscle relaxation. Certainly, the movement in part is a movement meditation. And some visualization, which is imagery. So many different types of meditation can be incorporated into these moves and practices, depending on what it is that you feel comfortable with and what you like. So I'd like to just return to a bit of a heart-focused meditation. And this meditation, again, is I call these my New York meditation go-tos. Really for people that can't meditate, that can't quiet the mind. Usually, even if you can't quiet the mind, you can assess which part of the body feels better from the belly up to the chest. And this is a heart-focused meditation that comes from the company HeartMath. And they've done tons of research on the power of feeling the feelings of love and gratitude and how that changes the way the heart and the brain talk to each other. So for the purposes of today, I'd like to just include this brief meditation. So again, I'll ask you to get comfortable. Same thing, have your feet flat on the floor. Feel the connection to the earth. Take the shoulders up, around, and open up the chest so that the chest can nicely expand. And this time I'm going to ask you to just place your hand over your heart. Bring your awareness to your breath. And imagine that you're breathing in and out through the heart center. You might even feel your heartbeat. And as you do so, I invite you to feel the feeling of love, appreciation, or gratitude for someone or something in your life. It can be a person, it can be a pet, it can be the sunrise or the sunset over the water. Don't think it, but feel that feeling of love or appreciation And allow your heart to pump that feeling to every cell in your body. And just notice how that feels. And then take that feeling of love, gratitude, appreciation, and send it to everybody on this call so that everyone can benefit from this energy. And notice how that feels. And then take that feeling of love and appreciation and send it out to the world. All persons, creatures, and beings, nature, the earth. And know that this is something you can do anytime you choose by simply focusing on the heart center, harnessing that feeling, that sense of love and appreciation, sending it to yourself and sending it out to the world. So you can take a deeper inhale, you can take an exhale, place your hand on your lap and open your eyes. So these were just 2 examples of quick meditations. Now certainly there's a huge benefit to doing meditation for a half hour each day. Even for 10 minutes every day, we notice a big difference in functional MRIs that are done looking at centers of the brain. But these quick coherence, if this is something that's practiced regularly for as little as 5 or 10 minutes a day, then when you're stressed, these are things that you can call on without doing the whole Tai Chi easy form. Simple, the breath awareness, if you're used to assessing yourself, you could place your hand on your belly and just bring an awareness for a moment to the calmness of focusing on the breath. And with the heart focus meditation, it's pretty impossible to be hateful and angry and feel love and appreciation at the same time. So a quick way when we first respond to some stress or something in our daily routine, an easy way to flip the way we're feeling, changing the way we're focusing on the heart and the breath, and giving us the ability to break that stress cycle. So many benefits from these simple breath. Before we even get into the movement, the simple parts of the breath and being mindful, this can improve our concentration. It can help us respond to situations instead of react. What I was just talking about. Something happens that all of a sudden you feel that stress flow through your body, and you can just focus on the breath, or you can focus on that heart-centered focus because you've been practicing this, and you might have a minute or 2 where you can actually think about what's happening and decide on how you're going to react as opposed to just reacting automatically. It helps us be stable amid chaos, okay? Cope with the stress of performance. It enhances our clarity and creative thinking. So important in dealing with issues today. How creative can you be when you're stressed? Usually not very. And it helps us stop running on autopilot. Mindfulness is the exact opposite of running on autopilot. Mindfulness is being in the present moment, aware of what's going on and not judging it. So many great skills that we can have from just these first 2 baskets of the Tai Chi Easy. So I'd like to do a couple of simple, again, movement practices. So I invite you to stand up. And this is called tracing the energy channels. So as you can see on the screen, we have those acupuncture channels. I mentioned that one starts here, goes down. We have acupuncture channels throughout the whole body, front and back, often bilaterally, over the head, around the ears. So first, what we'll do is we're going to what we call trace the energy channels. So for thousands of years, they believe that there's energy in the body and outside the body. So I invite you to rub your hands together. I'll take off my glasses. Rub your hands.
Deborah, do you need to be on the screen share, or you want the presentation up, or do you want them to look at you?
You know what? I'll stop the presentation. Thank you, because that might be easier. I think
No problem.
enough of the acupuncture channels. So
Okay.
let's rub the hands together. And then we're just gonna, like you were washing your face, but without touching it, go over the face, over the head, down around the back. Bend your knees slightly if you're comfortable. Come up the front of the legs. And just end at the heart. And again, rub the hands. And you may or may not feel something. You're just tracing, moving the energy around, up over the head, down around the back, and up the front. Okay. And then we're going to do what we call tapping the energy channel. So I invite you to put your left arm out, and I usually say, if you have a pacemaker, defibrillator, if you're pregnant, recent surgery, don't be tapping on that area, okay? But otherwise, make a loose fist and tap up your arm and just notice how it feels. Do you feel any tenderness? Tap over the shoulders where we often feel so much stress. Tap down the arm, back up, come across, and tap on the sternum where we have the thymus for the immune system. We often hold so many emotions in our chest. And then we do the same thing to the other arm. Tap up the arm, up over the shoulders, and just notice if you have tenderness. Nothing's supposed to really hurt us. Sometimes when there's stagnated energy, we could feel a little bit stiff. Again, come up. Then we're going to tap down the outside of the legs. Bend your knees slightly if you're comfortable, down towards the ankles, and up on the inside. Lightly tap on the belly, hit the kidneys, and then shake it out. And just notice if you feel a difference. You know, usually we feel a little bit of a difference. We feel some energy moving around. So I'm just going to go back to the presentation for a moment. And are there any things in the chat? Okay, no.
People commented on where they were breathing best from. We have 2 for belly and 1 for chest.
Okay. And that just always intrigues me because again, you know, people breathe all different ways. And if we were just focused on the Lamaze breathing, a lot of people wouldn't be comfortable. So we just tapped up and down, moving some of this energy around all our different acupuncture channels. So when we talk about self-massage, you know, I'm sure some of you have been for foot reflexology at the various different foot spas. That's a different energy map, reflexology. The belief is that the hands and feet are a map of the body, and that by pressing different points on the hands or the feet, we can help the whole body relax. So if we were going to do a massage, you don't have to know what each part of the hands are. I can briefly describe that. The fingers are the head reflex, as are the toes. So if your mom did this little piggy when you were a kid and sort of pinched up and down your toes, that's working on the head reflexes and the sinus areas. So these are sending stimulus to different organ reflex points in the body. And certainly if we have arthritis in our hands, in the wrist, you know, lightly massaging with the thumb or with the fingers is very beneficial to the hands and the feet. Certainly feels better when someone does it for you, but a great form of self-care. So with this Tai Chi Easy, if you have any medical issues that restrict your activity, you just do the practice the best you can. We should self-assess each day and know what our limitations are and discuss with a healthcare provider. Start small and remain in our comfort zone and adapt and modify to our body's ease, but most of all, enjoy this. So as we move into the Tai Chi, there's 3 what we call intentful corrections that are part of the Qigong part. So I'll invite you to stand up again, and I'll just read through this a little because there's nothing that you need to see. But as we do the intentful corrections, we want to stand with the feet hips width apart. If you feel comfortable, you can continue doing this in your chair. And you're gonna sit upright. So again, I'd say take your shoulders up to your ears, roll them around so the chest is open. And then imagine a connection. Imagine a thread connecting your head up to the heavens and the tailbone down to the earth. Okay, so that you're sort of being stretched. I have this one great Pilates teacher. She says, put your hand on your head lightly and then just stretch up a little so that you reach that hand. Okay, so you do an upward lift and a downward pull. So you're opening the center of the body And we're adjusting this position so that the blood and the lymph flow freely. And then we focus on our breath, just like we did those breath awareness practices, breathing in and breathing out, inhaling slowly through the nose. And then we clear our mind. So just being aware of the breath and not focusing on, am I doing this right? Am I doing it wrong? Just really being aware of what we're doing in our positions. And then we can gently do some flowing movements. And I think just for time's sake, I'll move into some of that. So I'll stop the screen share and let's just do some movements where we're going to, as we inhale, move the arms up. And as you exhale, you let them flow down. Inhale, let them flow up. And you do this at your own pace. And then if you feel comfortable, you can rock a little. You can come a little bit on your toes as you inhale, a little bit on the heels as you exhale. Only if you feel comfortable. You may want to hold on to a chair to get that rocking motion and that balance. But this is a huge part of supporting our balance, having the weight equally distributed on both feet. So as you're standing, you're feeling the four corners of your feet connecting to the earth. And you're also feeling that pull up. So we're not crunched, we're standing up straight. We're feeling connected to the earth. We're inhaling, moving forward a little bit, and exhaling, just lifting the toes. So we inhale, lift the heels just a little. And if you feel more comfortable just doing the standing, you're still getting the benefit of this opening and this moving. And then as we do this, we're going to take a hand. I'll call this hand my door hand, and this hand will be my picture hand. So we're going to take the door hand on the top, and we're going to take the other hand towards the picture. They call this as you're serving tea. This is called balancing yin and yang. We spoke about yin and yang, the male and the female energy. So you're gently letting the hand float up. And if you feel comfortable, you're shifting your weight as you're doing this. So letting one hand rise as you turn just the upper body a little, and you're breathing, and the other hand comes around. We can also think of this as sunrise and sunset, balancing that energy. And then we're going to take this energy ball and we're going to flip it. So then your top hand is going to brush your knee, and this other hand is going to send the chi or the energy, send it out to the world. And then we form a ball. Brush your knee, send the chi, and form the ball. Brush your knee, send the chi, and form the ball. And one more time, brush your knee, send the chi, and form the ball. And then we do what we call cross hands. The next move is I find very interesting. It's called cutting a path to clarity. So you look at all the busyness in your life and you just cut through to clarity. Look at all the issues of the past and you cut through to the present time. All the things you think you should have done, and just cut through to the present moment. And let's do that one more time. And then we move into what we call cloud hands, where you're watching the cloud float by. Then you switch hands and you watch the cloud float by. And as you turn, you look in the distance and then you switch hands. Look at the palm, notice the palm of your hand, any little wrinkles in there, and then look in the distance. This becomes a form of an eye exercise where you focus on the palm, Switch hands. And you again focus on the palm and switch hands. And then what we're going to be doing is gathering strength. So you gather strength from the earth, all that rich energy, the strength down there, bring it up to your heart. And gather the strength from the heavens and let that just shower on you. Again, gather the strength from the earth, bring it up to the heart center, and all the blessings from the heavens and let them shower down on you. And one more time. And then just let it sit at your heart center for a second. And just check out your body and see how you feel. Then as we end, we make a fist in one hand, we bow with the other. And we honor the little practice that we just did. So that was just a couple of simple movements that helps to move the energy around in our body. Helps to, certainly if we're focusing on the breathing, help our bodies relax. Including a lot of the different movements in the Qigong power tools. These are just additional movements that we could do. And all geared towards really opening up the channels. You know, when we did that tapping, that was a form of self-applied massage, as would the reflexology be. The marrow washing we did with the hands flowing over the body, just imagining flowing the energy freely throughout the whole body. So this Tai Chi Easy has these 5 moves attached to it, harmonizing the yin and yang, the brush knee and the sen chi, the cloud hands, and the gathering strength. So simple, easy movements that come from this nonprofit organization, the Healer Within Foundation. The training is very interesting because when I was in school to be a Tai Chi, when I was taking Tai Chi, if you wanted to be a Tai Chi teacher, there was a lot of courses that you needed to do. And with this Tai Chi Easy, it's a 3-day training. You're not meant to be the expert. I'm not certainly the expert in this, but I'm a practice leader. So the goal is to disseminate this to communities, to share the practice, and to have fun with it. So to be respectful of your time, I'd like to take any questions that anybody has, any comments, suggestions, whatever you think.
Let me unmute everybody, okay?
Okay.
Okay, I unmuted everybody I could. If you're still muted, it would be on your end. Feel free to ask some questions if you guys have any. And thank you for this great presentation.
I have no questions, but it was wonderful.
Well, thank you. Certainly, you know, I mean, to me, nothing is more beautiful than seeing 20 people do Tai Chi Easy perfectly. You know, in synchrony, you feel the energy, it looks gorgeous, but so many of us are intimidated by that. I think this is a really nice way to move into it. And I think the fact that they say, do this any way you want, it doesn't have to be perfect, gives people the freedom of, oh yeah, I can do some of that. If I can't reach my ankles or bend my knees, I can still have the benefit. But did anybody feel any difference from when we first started till when we ended? And if so, what did you feel? Did you feel more of the breath work and meditation? Did you feel more of the movement? Did you feel the tapping?
I felt more of the movement. I found it very relaxing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we didn't even have Tai Chi music on.
Right.
Anybody else? Anybody on the call do Tai Chi before? Or Qigong? Or is this the first time you ever heard of this? And if you want to talk, you have to unmute yourself.
I have done it before at the senior center, and I think it's beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Nancy commented, she said, more relaxed and calmer.
Okay, I'm curious, how many people did it sitting? And did you feel any benefit from just sitting and doing it?
I was standing.
Okay.
I was sitting and doing it, and I had to moderate, but I still felt benefits. I still felt calmer.
Okay.
You have a very relaxing voice too. I don't know if anybody's ever told you that.
Even with my Brooklyn accent, huh? It's so funny, you know, when we present across the country, I've presented a couple times in other countries, and they're like, we just love to hear that New York accent. I was like, what accent? This is the way.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm curious to see, what are you going to take away from this? What would be next steps?
I'll try to practice it. I'll go online and I'll Google it and get some moves.
Tai Chi Easy. You can Google the Healer Within Foundation. There's a free membership. That their goal is to really move this out, you know, to have people taking charge of their health and wellness and doing some kind of movement and breath work, and introducing people that can't meditate into some of the mindful movement, because that's such a benefit for us, you know. And I think after you're used to moving a little bit, focusing on the breath, it becomes easier to sit and do movements, or do breath work, I should say.
Okay.
And we have another comment that said, from H, that said, thank you. I'm hoping to do more Tai Chi at my library through South Nassau Hospital. It takes time to get used to moving in a slower way, but I always feel better after it.
Yeah, definitely. This is not part of our New York lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
We can multitask and do everything at once. So this is a complete flip. Now, we certainly can't be mindful and do slow movement every day of our lives living here on this island. But, you know, there is a time and place that we need to really incorporate this.
Okay.
Did anybody else have anything?
I'm wondering if the slower movement is in a way on purpose, because I think when you're moving slower, you're, I guess, somehow forced to clear your mind a little, to focus on the motion of the hands and, you know, just the slower moving. And it does kind of take your mind off of thinking about your lists in your head and other things. So in a way, it kind of clears your head at the same time.
Definitely, because, you know, you're being mindful. And if we were incorporating the feet into this and doing more of a rocking motion and shifting the weight, that you really become engrossed in just that process, you know. But anytime we move mindfully, you know, we may start out with a little bit of a shoulder movement, just being mindful of it. And then as you breathe into it, we see we can extend it so much more than initially we did. So huge benefits as we age, as we want to keep our lifestyle up, as we want to increase mobility. And I'd certainly recommend that simple, you know, the breathing with the arms up and down, holding onto a chair and rocking forward and backwards. Not big moves, just simple little moves of lifting the toes, feeling the feet on the floor and lifting the heels, and feeling your feet. What does it feel like to stand with the corners of your feet on the floor? Powerful, because, you know, so many times we're not even mindful, and, you know, we could trip all over the place. You know, we're usually moving way too fast.
Is there a website you can recommend for watching Tai Chi Easy?
Yes, I would Google the Healer Within Foundation, and you can also YouTube Tai Chi Easy. So Dr. Roger Jahnke is the founder. When I watch him, his movements are very big and beautiful. There's a lot of simple ones on YouTube, but the Tai Chi Easy are the 5 moves that are easy. So
I put it in the chat, guys, the Healer Within Foundation, okay? Just so you can, if you need to copy it.
That's a nonprofit organization with this whole dissemination project. We're hoping to have we were supposed to have a training in August, the 3J training, to be a practice leader, but because of COVID, that got canceled. So We're aiming for October. I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not. I asked them if they could do a combination of a hybrid where maybe we would do some further training online and meet maybe one day in person, because I don't see people traveling and staying 3 days in a hotel, you know, at this time.
There's another question about signing up for the 3-day course. Is that a possibility?
Yes, and again, we're on their website. So we were offering the course in Roslyn at the Northwell Center for Peace, but you can go to the Heal Within Foundation. Christy is the one who's in charge of it. You can look up Practice Leader Trainer, and they'll tell you where the sites are around the country. But I think right now they're really working on virtual trainings, because the trainings this summer were canceled. A number happened in California. There was one up at Omega that I think was canceled. And I think we might be the next one in the fall.
In looking at the website while you're talking, I'm looking on the Healer Within. I don't see any videos there to do Tai Chi along with the video. So I think the only way is to YouTube it with Tai Chi Easy. I did see one for a $5 charge that was in California.
Oh no, if you have to
Am I looking wrong?
You scroll a little bit longer. You may have to join where you don't have to pay anything, but you get on their mailing list, and then their library is open to you.
Okay.
They do have a link that says YouTube on their site, and so I went to that, and I do see at least 6 videos here. Oh wait, there's many. It looks like there's a lot more. Never mind. Yeah, there's at least like about 12 videos here, right? Yeah, with Dr. Roger doing them.
Right,
So
right.
they do have a link to the YouTube video if you want to practice there.
Okay, I'm gonna look here.
Yep. Did you see the YouTube link there? It's right on the right side. It says quick links. And then you could also sign up for the newsletter, practice groups, virtual practice groups. Let me see. Yeah, there's a lot there. You may want to mess around with the site a little bit. My guess is it's in there, the training as well.
I think because maybe I'm looking on my cell phone, that maybe it's a little different on.
It might not be mobile friendly.
Yeah.
But I know there was a practice.
Oh, I do see a YouTube thing here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I see it.
There's a practice group that I was on just this morning that is Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays, but each person does it a little bit differently, and it was a lot of the Qigong and the breathing. So just a lot of really good information, but again, focusing on the whole body, mind, spirit, and some type of movement.
I put the link for the Tai Chi Easy videos in the chat for anybody who needs it, okay?
Thank you. And certainly, you know, if it's something that we're interested in, I'm sure it's something that we can develop further on our island when we can meet in person again. You know, but I know we have a lot of Tai Chi resources here on the island too. And the high schools have always been a good source. The library, you know, I think we're very fortunate where we are.
Okay. Well, if nobody has any more questions, Deborah, did you have anything else?
No, I think that's it. Thank you, everybody, for participating.
Thank you.